Hi, welcome to Portage County Matters. I'm Patty Dreier, Portage County Executive. I'm really glad that you joined us today. My guest today is Special Assistant to the Chancellor at UW Stevens Point, Dave Eckmann. We're going to talk about economic development and talent and entrepreneurship, so it's going to be a really good show. Before we get to Dave, I would like to hit on a couple of different items at the top of the show like I usually do, and then we'll transition to patient Dave over here. First of all, I'd like to mention that we have a Housing Authority Board appointment available. You must be a participant of our housing program, and there's really a great opportunity to get involved in being a voice for your Housing Authority unit and for the others that are served through the program. Per diems and mileage is offered. So please, if you're interested, would you give our office a call? We'll have the phone number at the bottom of the screen, and we'll be able to connect you with the paperwork. Very little bit to complete to get us your voice on that important board. Another thing, we're doing a countywide EMS study. It will take about 6 to 8 weeks, and we have a consultant organization that is going to be in town taking care of gathering information and updating the existing report we had from a few years ago. It's called the ESCI study, if you hear us use that language in the county. And again, really important for us in working through some of the issues we have in our EMS system, looking at the opportunities before us, and ensuring that we have the best countywide EMS possible as we look to the future with new contracts in that future. Our healthcare center, many of you have heard me talk about this numerous times. You can tell it's dear to my heart. And perhaps you saw on the front page of the Stevens Point Journal not long ago that we have a conceptual design to show a concept of what the vision may be for the transformation of our healthcare center in a new setting in a 2 to 3 year time frame on Maria Drive in partnership with the Sisters of St. Joseph of the Third Order of St. Francis. We have this partnership that we're exploring the possibilities for. We don't know if this will be a reality yet. We hope that you'll stay tuned. There will be a lot of opportunities for you to get involved. I was at the healthcare center last night and talked with residents and family members of residents at the healthcare center, and they're very excited about this possibility, about us taking the 100 licensed beds at the Portage County Healthcare Center and transferring those beds into a new facility that would be built on the Maria Drive property, along with independent living and assisted living and memory care units on that site in partnership with the sisters. That's our dream. That's what we're working for. I have to tell you a funny story. Last night, one of the residents said, after she asked lots of questions during my presentation last night, she said, I hope I'm alive when it's built, to see it built. She said, I hope I'm alive to see it built. And the other people in the room, we had quite a few there last night, all came quick to her rescue and said, well, of course you will be. Well, of course you'll be alive to see this become a reality. And that's when she told us that she was 102 years old, and that she was, she just kind of giggled when she said it and surprised us all. None of us knew she was 102. Well, that led to hugs, and that led to her permission to allow me to share her story as part of an initiative to keep this project going and to not waste much time along the way and make sure that we can have this dream become a reality as soon as possible. So stay tuned for more, but one of the delights of the county executive job for sure. On March 3rd, the Space and Properties Committee will hear about a physical space plan that Venture Architects, a consulting firm, along with some staff leaders and court leaders, have developed to address our jail issue, as well as to provide government facility answers for our future. We'll look forward to March 3rd's presentation and lots more discussion that will happen thereafter as we decide whether or not that's the right direction we want to take, and how we might shape those concepts going forward. So stay tuned and be ready to share your voice in that picture. Good Friday on April 3rd, the Portage County Government Services will be closed for half a day on that holiday, and so we just wanted to give you a heads up about that. And groundwater is the other matter I wanted to bring up before we talk a little bit about the state budget. the proposed state budget. But related to groundwater, you know that I held the listening sessions across the county for about a period of 5 months, and then a summary session was held on February 4th. At that summary session, I presented the report that I had pulled together from all the other listening sessions. You can pull a copy of this report off from the county's homepage, and we'll have the county's website at the bottom of the screen. You'll be able to take a look and get a peek at all of the comments that were gathered in those listening sessions, what we did, what we learned, and what the next steps are. As you'd find in a letter at the top of the report, I am now proposing that we have a groundwater summit that we hold at the end of March. The summit will involve people from all walks of life and sectors represented. We'll face each other at common tables, and what we're going to do are take these ideas from these listening sessions from well over 250 people, and we'll go ahead and be able to draft them into some action strategies. Those actions then will go out to various groups, established groups like the Water Irrigation Task Force or the Little Plover River Alliance and others. And they will get to what I call filter it and provide some additional feedback before we form those action strategies into some drafts, final draft forms to put into the groundwater management plan on its way through the Planning and Zoning Committee to the county board and then into action in our county. I appreciate all the people who took time out of their lives to attend the listening sessions, and it's really important when we take a look at what happened related to quality in those water tests at the beginning of those listening sessions. Even though it wasn't a scientific study, it just is very interesting to know that over 36% of the water samples that we tested for nitrates had more than the health standard of nitrates. So the families are at risk, or children, little children wouldn't be able to drink that water. And 9% of the samples were more than double over the health standard for drinking water. And so that's a very serious thing. And people wouldn't be able to drink that water or cook with it either, and have to take some different steps as they continue on their way. So we're in this groundwater summit and in the work that we're going to continue to do. We're not only looking at how we're using water, but also what the quality of water is and how we can ensure that our water is safe for people to drink in this county, not just now, but for many years to come. So that's the groundwater story. And the last piece that I wanted to address here at the top of the show is the state proposed budget from Governor Walker for the 2015 to 2017 biennium. This budget is a very important one. There's a lot at stake here. And the reason that I'm bringing this topic up to you today as county executive here is I just want to remind you that all budgets, whether they're at local levels or at the state level, are about values. And I urge you to learn more about this state budget and to see if it truly reflects and aligns with your own personal values, the values that on which you have helped to build Wisconsin and create the traditions of Wisconsin and care for our neighbors in Wisconsin and make Wisconsin as great as it is today. I'm concerned that in this budget, it doesn't reflect the values upon which our state's been built. There are a number of different regards of concern where I come from, but I want to highlight a couple of things that I want you to look at. And certainly there's so much in this budget we can't, in a few moments at the top of this show, address all of them. But one of the things I want you to ask yourself is, how much do you value transparency in government? For this budget affects your ability to have a handle on what's going on in your own government. How much do you value your citizen voice in shaping your future and the future of this state for your children or grandchildren or neighbors or the frail individuals that need you to speak for them? How much does it reflect your own values? I would tell you that in this budget, the proposed budget, again, with an opportunity to be shaped right now, in this proposed budget, it will mute your voice when it comes to your own water quality, your own ability to manage natural resources that are your natural resources and parks and so on in the state of Wisconsin. It will mute your ability to ensure that your wildlife management programs are managed in accordance with your values, and it basically dismantles structures that we have that ensure that citizens can have a voice and will have a voice in their natural resources for the state of Wisconsin. In addition to that, I ask you, how much do you value the elderly and frail and disabled individuals in your own community? And how much do you value local rural businesses in particular in our communities and in your community? For this budget has some grave impacts on both the elderly and the frail individuals, as well as rural businesses that especially reach out from a healthcare sort of or home health kind of standpoint in our local communities. You might remember Logisticare. That was that call center that was that came to be after the last biennial budget. And that was where you needed to call a call center in order to get a ride to get to the doctor in your community. And the call center, if I recall correctly, was in the southeast part of the United States, in some other place, some other distant place, instead of calling your local Aging and Disability Resource Center for that particular ride that we had offered for you here. Anyway, what had happened was many people found themselves frustrated and weren't able to get that ride and ended up taking an ambulance to the doctor instead because they delayed in getting to their appointments and so on. In addition to what happened with Logisticare is we had local businesses that provided transportation services for elders go out of business because they didn't meet the state specifications and provide statewide transportation services. They were just local services. The services from neighbor to neighbor that we've come to know and build Wisconsin on. In this budget that is proposed right here and now, Family Care, the program that reaches out and provides independence and choice and self-supports for citizens across our state of Wisconsin, many thousands who are part of our family care network. These individuals have a voice through their long-term care districts. For example, we have one of those districts right here in Portage County. And what happens is in the proposed budget, there will only be a year or so, and family care will go statewide to include counties that haven't ever had this program yet. In addition to that, what will happen is the long-term care districts will be dismantled in a year. They'll go out of business. And what will happen then is you'll have a call number to call, just like Logisticare. You'll have a call number, as far as we can tell, because there are very few details here, and people in the long-term care community have not been asked to weigh into this budget proposal at all. It was a complete surprise. So what's happened here is you'll get to call a call number and try to see if you can get help in your local daily cares for your own health and well-being in your own home out in rural Wisconsin. And what will happen then is those businesses that might provide you with and have contracts through your long-term care district to provide you with home health care, for example, those businesses will not be allowed to handle your care at all anymore. You'll have only statewide businesses that will be your business to take care of you in taking your meds, getting the cares you need, and living as independently as you can. We've spent decades building this program here in Wisconsin. Our pilot counties were 5 pilot counties that took 8 years to assemble themselves and do smart regionalization. We right now, with Community Care Connections of Wisconsin, which is our local family care district, it offers services to 16 different counties, and we get out there and we make sure that the quality of care is right, that people have a voice, that it is based on choice and your options. So really, truly, this is one of the areas that I am exceptionally concerned in our state proposed budget from Governor Walker about how it will affect people's lives and well-being and daily and put people at risk, really, in the state of Wisconsin. We need to remove that from the state budget process so that it can get the appropriate deliberations and people will have the kind of respect and compassion that they deserve in their own daily health and well-being at stake to be able to help shape the right answer for our future, rather than throw away these infrastructures that we have spent so much time and tradition in building here that have such low administrative costs and that are national models right here in the state of Wisconsin. So these are some of the areas of concern in the budget, but again, I want to bring it back to values. What do you value? Will this be the kind of future that you want us to continue to move ahead with in the state of Wisconsin? Or do you want it to be a government truly, truly of the people, by the people, and for, and I'll underline the word for, the people here in the state of Wisconsin, the people who are the taxpayers of this county, who have, or of this state, who have invested in the infrastructure that's made Wisconsin the leading edge of health and education and environment in the United States of America. So please, if you would like more information about how to learn about the proposed budget so that you can evaluate how it aligns with your own values, go ahead and give my office a call. I'd be more than happy to guide you to the documents so that you knew where you could learn and then make up your own mind. Thank you so much for listening to that, and I would say at the end of this, very truly from the bottom of my heart, God bless Wisconsin. We need all the help we're going to get here to ensure that we've got a bright and healthy and vibrant future for all of us. Thank you. Now, I want to transition from that kind of county executive hat over to my awesome guest, Dave Eckmann, who's been on my show before here in the last year or so. And Dave, we're going to talk about economic development. We're going to talk about our awesome UW-Stevens Point, my alma mater. We're going to talk about entrepreneurship and about talent development. So please, tell us a little bit more about what you do on a daily basis so we remind everybody who met you before, but then also let's transition into some great things going on at our university that will continue to go on at our awesome university.
Okay, thank you. Thanks for having me. Yeah, part of my role as Special Assistant to the Chancellor for Economic Development at the university, still only the one person within the system like that, other than my peer at UW system proper. My role is really to connect with the communities that we serve and really embody the Wisconsin idea that this university goes beyond the city of Stevens Point and goes beyond Portage County. It really is a regional asset.
Absolutely.
Serving many, many communities in many different facets. We may help government entities or nonprofit agencies to solve problems, as well as helping to align K-12 initiatives to the two-year colleges, the technical colleges, and then to the four-year university. So it's very, very wide in that respect. The other part of my job then is really to bring an approach of how we in our internal culture of the university, how we can position the quality of academics that we have and the quality of students that we have in programs, how we can be more entrepreneurial in our own culture. You've alluded to some of the budget challenges, and we're facing challenges, as you well know. Sure. And so it's really important that as a university and as a system, I can tell you the leadership is planning and planning and planning, and I'm very proud of the people that I see working diligently through the challenges that we face, and nothing is firm and decided yet. The budget, as you indicate, and I think it's very important that people understand that this is just the beginning of the process, and there's a lot of work to be done. So
a lot of shaping. I mean, that's again where voices come, and folks know about me that I'm very interested in ensuring that those voices stay.
It's not a done deal.
Stay active and are heard.
That's
yes.
right. And to your point, values are very. You're right. Absolutely, and that needs to come out from people around the state. So we're working through that, but what we do, you know, the wheel keeps it rolling, and we still have to. We get up every day and we do the work that we have to do, and so as we approach our work and the university, at least my work that I do, it's really trying to position the university inside and outside. And so some of the things that we do, that we're working on right now, that's really critical. And I don't know if people really understand the nature of what this state, and actually the upper Midwest, is challenged with in the future with demographics. We're getting older. You can call it the baby boom generation retirement. Many call it the silver tsunami. That's coming.
I never heard that.
Yeah, the silver tsunami.
Silver tsunami.
So yeah, it's the big wave of baby boomer retirements and leaving their jobs, leaving their professions, retiring, many leaving the state just to go to warmer climates, a retirement, and then many just retreating into retirement here locally. And so what that is going to do is and because we have a bigger wave, and you've touched on the healthcare a bit, because we are going to have a bigger population of retirees to serve in the healthcare, and those are important things to think about. But as they leave the workforce, where is the talent going to come from?
Exactly.
In the state of Wisconsin? See, that's just one side of the problem. The other side of the problem is that we are not replacing our age populations, or what we call cohorts. And so from the ages of 18 to about 39, and then from about 59, the 59 and older, they're just, that population's growing. But that cohort that I mentioned, 18 to 39, we're not replacing. What that means is we do not have a replacement population to fill the job capacity that is leaving the marketplace. We are going to have a shortage of talent. And so you'll see technology plays a role in that too, because as technology advances, it takes less people to do things, because technology is taking a lot of that on. So we have to balance this with the talent development, because our businesses and industries are going to need specific talent, and that's where the university comes in.
Yeah, and exactly how at UW-Stevens Point are we making this a reality now?
Well, my comment to people is throughout the region is that the university is a home field advantage that everybody must take advantage of. And when I say that, there's no other institution here in central Wisconsin that can bring in, beyond the students that are from here, nearly 8,000 fresh faces every year into a city.
And some from around the world, which
Absolutely.
is just such an enrichment to our community.
Correct. We bring in more potential talent than any other organization, any other corporation. We bring in fresh opportunity. We bring in students that are looking for opportunities in their careers and what they want to do. And so we have to leverage that as a community. And so some of the things that we're doing, we're starting to get real active in terms of how we connect our juniors and seniors that are getting ready to leave the university and get them connected early to local talent.
To local businesses.
Correct.
Yep.
Here's what's happening. We have high growth areas in the eastern part of the state down to Milwaukee and then through over to Dane County. So that crescent, what I refer to, it's pulling talent out of here. They don't have enough talent. So they're coming into our area and recruiting students out into their industries.
Interesting, sure.
So it's very competitive. And for us regionally, we have to start to be a bulwark against that, and we have to take ownership. So it's the university proactively connecting to companies throughout the region to get placements for internships or work learning opportunities, and then even we had the career fair the other day. So that's one of the things we're doing. The other thing that we're playing a leadership role right now with Centergy, our regional economic development group, is to build a regional talent innovation network. And what that is...
A regional talent innovation network.
Retain.
Wow.
Retain.
Okay.
Right.
Wonderful.
And what it is, it's a strategy that we work regionally through our K-12, through our 2 years, our 4-year institutions, our chambers of commerce, and our economic development groups. And we work closely with business and industry so that we have to, this is a must for education. From a K-12 to a 2-year to a 4-year, we have to begin to develop seamless programs in terms of how credit or learning articulates from one institution connects to one institution to another, a streamline, without many obstacles.
Nice.
And so that allows students really to effectively plan. It helps parents to help their son or daughter plan. It helps dislocated workers to be able to come into the workforce, leave the workforce.
Where their path is.
You got it, exactly. And so what we're doing, this Retain is going to do, is bring together those nonprofits typically, because what we have to do is break down barriers, the silos that exist. We see many of them throughout the region, and we're trying to break that down and starting to work with industry, especially information technology.
And I know that the university's been doing that for years, but I think what I'm hearing you say is we're stepping it up a notch. And this new world, these new needs are helping us move in a direction to become even more effective in making that idea work, I guess you would say.
And the public demands it, really. You know, we're dealing with finite levels of resources, financial resources.
And we always have.
Yep. And so we have to become better. The challenges are in front of us. We see this in our budgets. So we have to do a better job of aligning what we can do and sharing resources where we can.
You know, it's very interesting when you're talking about the workforce shortage in our future, really. We're talking about it in county government as well. So it's easy to think about businesses, for example, where you want to make sure that you've got your talent pool all ready to go. But here in county government, for those critical core jobs, you're going to want to also draw from that pool. Yes. And we have a lot of intern opportunities. I'm just actually trying to place an intern recently out of one of the schools here, and give them a stepping stone through us as well. So it's kind of exciting to be part of the building of a relationship that can grow in the direction of career development and betterment for everybody on all sides of that equation.
Right. And the other aspect of it is we do best if we grow our own.
We do. That we have noticed for sure.
Yep, we do better. It's hard to attract. It's hard to attract new businesses. Not to say it's impossible, but it's hard to attract new businesses. It's hard to attract talent to your area. And that's the critical nature of growing your own. So when we have 9,000 students on campus, we have to make every effort possible to keep those students here in central Wisconsin.
Great. Now, I'll tell you what, I know that we have maybe a little bit more than a minute left in the show. What are the things that any viewer out there could help with? Or what would you like them to be thinking about as some parting thoughts here?
Well, we do have a new entrepreneurial initiative going on. We have a student group that just formed their club. They're going to have space up in Nelson Hall. They're going to have their own offices. There's actually a couple businesses starting up there. So they're going to be needing resources. They're looking, you know, they're looking for equipment. They're really a bunch of self-starters. They're bootstrappers. But you know, when you start an organization like that, you need help from the community. So they're welcoming any business involvement and help them get their feet off the ground, helping to get supplies for their offices, things like that.
Well, I'll tell you what, we'll make sure that your contact information's on the screen, so if any viewers are interested in getting involved, they'll be able to connect with you and you can help guide them as to where they can serve.
Terrific.
Thank you for what you do on a daily basis, not just for us right here in our local Portage County, but for the whole state of Wisconsin, because you really are an extraordinary leader, David. It's a pleasure to have you here.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Next month, I hope to have Interim Mayor Gary Westcott join us here on Portage County Matters. We'll see if we can maybe give him a beautiful send-off before the new mayor comes in, and we'll have a little bit of fun talking about what happened during his interimness in the city of Stevens Point. I look forward to seeing you then. Thank you for joining us.